nation, destroys our generation. I don't mind, I don't mind, I don't mind, I don't mind. Looking for inspiration in my life, looking for inspiration all the time, looking for, looking for, looking for, looking for, hey!
Good afternoon, everybody. Morning, evening, wherever you happen to be in this world today. Hope you're all doing well. Getting things started up here for Spline Design Studios Saturday. I'm going to be doing quite a bit. I tried to tweet it out there, let everybody know, I guess, as far as what was going on there. As far as with continuing the development, all that work on the Dairyland map for the Farming Simulator 19. Obviously, for anybody that didn't watch the stream last night for Farming Friday, did come into some issues, some problems, so whatever that need to be addressed. I had planned on releasing the map by today. Obviously, that's not going to happen, so this is why it's kind of a little bit of crunch time, I guess, to try and work out some of the problems that exist with the map, primarily with the functionality in use of the ferry slash barge, I guess, on the river, the main river, I guess, of the map. So we want to get that figured out. So we're going to throw some things at the problem here and see what we can't resolve. So yeah, I got a couple other things that I want to go over that will involve a little bit of 3D modeling. That's usually the theme they usually like to follow, I guess, for Spline Design Studios Saturday, to kind of throw in some of the 3D model creativity stuff within 3ds Max and things of that nature. So we'll have a little bit of that, so stay tuned in for that. Just getting some things loaded up here, making sure everything's presentable here. I get quite a bit of things scattered about on the desktop, and try not to confuse anybody, I guess, as far as I got lots of smaller projects going on besides just the things that I'm going to show here. So yeah, just not to confuse anybody as far as all the mess that is up on the desktop there. So I try to keep that cleaned up as much as possible. So alright, so let's go ahead and bring this over. So the first initial thing that I've got out here is this object for this warehouse. I had pointed out during yesterday for Farming Friday, that there's some issues with this thing. At some point or another, I'll probably end up redoing this building. It's got a plethora of issues with it as far as just the material mapping, things like that. I had remedied I guess, some certain issues, I guess, with it as far as like the clipping of these loading dock doors. Yeah, so I had to separate that out. It's like a complete model, so I've got it separated out as far as the doors to be able to remove some of the clippings. So it's kind of a band-aid, really, right now, I guess, as far as to fix that particular issue with the building. So the other thing I want to do to kind of remedy some of this, I guess you can consider mismapping, I guess, of this sign. This place here, these seams here for the ribs don't line up. It previously had some banners here, like for signage for the building. So that's probably what I'm gonna do, is just make a sign for this to cover that. It'll probably end up being slightly wider, I guess, than what I got here. I've been meaning, I guess, to put some type of signage on this warehouse anyway. This is for Joann's Fabrics, as far as one of the sell points in the map. So that's probably what I'm gonna do. That's why I have this object on the desktop. That's what this pertains to. I'm gonna get that loaded up in the 3ds Max. We get right into that. Eventually, I will be getting into, tackling some of the issues that do present themselves, I guess, with the ferry. Just come up with a reasonable solution, I guess, to that problem anyway. One of the things I guess I have been thinking of is just taking and removing the rigid body from the water plane altogether. The only reason the rigid body and the water plane was made in the first place was to accommodate seasons, the use of the seasons mod with the map, and being able to allow the rivers and the waterways to freeze over. Yeah, so that's the only reason why I guess that's in there. Now there will still be an ice plane, if you will, of the waters, as far as the rest of the waterways. It's just when I could remove a possibility of just removing that ice plane, as far as the ability of the water to freeze on the river itself. That is necessarily an option I'm considering. It would still create the necessity of making the ferry itself, the ferry / barge, a free roam type of vehicle, which means it can be navigated off the river, as far as the water plane from the river. That I'm not 100% sure I really want to have. Not that it's really that difficult, I guess, to get the ferry back onto the river. Yeah, that's not really so much the issue. The issue is just getting, I don't know, it creates a plethora of problems, I guess, as far as on a multiplayer server. Some people just not being too kind, I guess. I try not to use too many, how do I want to put it, calling people out, I guess, as far as just not being too kind, I guess, on multiplayer servers, to drive a free roam ferry, I guess, off there and park it somewhere where it doesn't belong, that type of thing. I don't really want to have that type of scenario, I guess, exist. I'd rather have it on a spline, and that's been my primary approach to getting the ferry applied to the map, is to put it on a spline, so that way it's fixed to the actual the river location anyway. So I need to scale this down. Alright, let's get this scaled down to 1. Okay, let's do that. Let's do Z. Actually, I want to get this zeroed out. This won't really matter. I'm not going to be using the warehouse itself. I just need it as a baseline here, so now I got it to the size I need it. This will allow me to create the sign for it. Now I could probably piece this out and then build the sign based on that. I'll have to design that sign. I haven't really considered, I guess, any particular type of design for it. I've got a pretty good idea. It is based off of something that is in my area, so I could probably use the sign or the logo, I guess, for that particular that particular place, so we'll see how it works here. Let's give me a second here. Alright. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. Just looking to see what we had. It's got some really older ones in there. I guess it doesn't really matter if it has to be modern. It's a modern version, I guess, of the sign. This, as long as it identifies it, whatever, as far as what this building represents, as far as in the map. Because currently, right now, there's nothing on it to inform of what it is. So I've got like for the Dollar General and Joe's. You know, I'd even thought about just using this one. Whoops, not that. I could even use this sign because it's already separated out, and just apply a different label to it. I could do that as well. Now that I think of that, that might not be a bad idea. I could probably export this out. I could still use that building, I guess, as a guide to be able to get it. Because I want to be able to apply a different material to that. Because right now it's got a material for this here. I can be able to put something else on it. Yeah, so that's another option too. I might just do that. Let's spit this one out. We'll export that selection to the desktop as a, let's call it sign. Okay. Yep, there's an OBJ. Cool. That should be on here too. There we go. Let's check this out. So if we bring the sign in here, bring that in here as well. This I can rename it once I get it. Okay. Yeah, I can rename that. Let's yeah. So it's gonna be rescale. Let's get to rescale it. Sometimes my mind is something I get an idea and it's just like, no, just stay focused on one thing at a time. I want to get ahead of myself. Alright, so we want to zero this out as well. That'll get that in the general vicinity of the warehouse. Like so. That's probably going to be inside of it, yep. That's fine. Let's bring this out here. And we can get this sized up here. So I don't even really need to make a new model for this. I can just use this sign. Whoops. I want to angle snap that. Yeah, let's do it this way. 90 degrees. There we go. Okay, and then we'll put this into position. And it doesn't really matter here because I'm going to zero it out anyway. So I can bring it in here, but at least give me an idea of what it'll look like on the building if once I put it in the map. And down just a tad. I feel that's just a little bit loud. Okay. So yeah, just getting this roughly into position here. Okay. And this is only going to give me an idea of how it's going to look once I apply it to the map, the building in the map itself. So I'm not really worried about this, because I'll get it zeroed out, get it exported, and then bring it into the map and put it into position. Okay. So now from material, let me go back to the map here and see where that was at. The material is in so this one's in imports textures. Yep, that sounds about right. So we go back here in our map, so go to imports, textures, and we should have one in here for a corner. Grocery store. There we go. So I got a normal on it too. Nice. So I got for the store itself the sign, and I got a normal on the sign. Huh, I didn't realize I put it on one. Okay. Oh, I hate when it does that. Why do you do this to me? This is why I ended up installing GIMP. For some reason, some of these textures, after I create them, I'm not able to open them back up again. Not sure why that is, but this one's got mip maps. Okay, there's the mip map for it. Cool. Okay. That's just for the wood. Gotcha. Alright, so let's exit out of that. Yeah, I don't know why that is as far as the dynamics of a DDS. As far as the parameters on it, a lot of times it won't open with PaintShop Pro. End up having to using like either Adobe or GIMP. That was part of one of the reasons I did install GIMP. So what I need is just, I guess if I do want a normal on at, yep, I'm gonna need these two signs. I really only need this one here to do that. I could probably call for the normal to be in this same store, so I could probably... I almost need to rename this so I know which one's Joe's Meat Shop and then one's, yeah. I didn't consider using, so I might redo the names of these textures or whatever so I know which one it is and I can keep it under the same folder. Yeah. How are we doing, VH? No, yeah, kind of in a way. Not only make it better, but just trying to make something, elaborate on something I already created. Coming to the conclusion here, I'll have to readjust some things here, but not a big deal. How we doing there, VH? Hope you're doing well on this Saturday. Let's see, so how do I want to do this? I think what I'll do for this case here, I'm going to make a copy of this one. Just for now. I'll get back to renaming this here. That's going to force me to go into and edit the map i3D itself for the names of that stuff. So that's I'll do that later. Let's do this part first. Get this sign made for this warehouse. I'm going to name this one. I'm going to be real specific on this one. Let's do... call this one Fabric Warehouse. I got a gnat in here and it's bugging me. Playing some Warzone, nice. Sounds like you're having some fun with that. That's super cool. I've never played the game. I've heard of it, just haven't really played it. That's good that you're having some fun with that one. There, VH. Okay, so Fabric Warehouse. Man, I'm gonna have to rename. Kind of almost thinking I want to make a separate folder for this. Kinda. I really don't want to do it that way, but I think that's going to make more sense to be able to adjust each sign independently down the road if I wanted to, especially if anybody else did want to as well. Yeah, that's good, VH. You got a lot of hours into that game? I know I don't usually hear you chiming in there. Of course, there's the likes of Smart Alec and Oreo haven't been streaming as much from what I understand, so I don't know if they're just busy IRL or what the deal is, but that's usually when I see you chiming in, and so the fact that it's nice to see you in here. It's stopping on in, I guess, to see what I got going on here for Saturday, taking a break, I guess, from your Warzone activities and seeing what I got going on over here. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, I think I'm going to make a new folder for this one here. I'll call this a Fabric Warehouse because the majority of the materials that I have for this warehouse are in... Crap, let me go back over here. Let me go back to that. Let's zoom back over here. A majority of these materials are in another folder, which aren't really related to that. Where else I could see? So this one's in the co-op. Okay. I could put it in there, since the majority of those are already in there anyway. I could do that. I think that's what I might do. So the majority of the materials for this building are in, I'll come back to that, are in this folder. So I can put that sign in here so that way it's kind of all together. Because that's what I think about it. So all those materials for that building for the most part are in here. So just to have it make more sense, I'm going to put the sign, and that's going to include that normal. So again, I want to keep those all together. That way, this one will be together with the Joe's Meat Shop, and then this one will be together with for the Fabric Warehouse. So I'm going to need to cut this one, put this into co-op. So paste that here. And then I'll also need another copy of this normal. So go back into here. And I'll need to apply that to the model prior to export, because that is a requirement, I guess, by Giants, that it doesn't give you the ability to apply a normal map to a model if it's not applied on the export from the 3D modeling program, be it 3ds Max in this case. So that is a requirement, so I need to put this in here. But I'm going to rename this one to match. The hell did I name it? Where do? Oh, there it is. So I'm going to name it Fabric Warehouse. Yep. Okay, here we go. I usually copy the properties of that name, so I make sure that I've named it the same thing, but I'm just going to go ahead and type it in. So Fabric Warehouse. Whoops. Sign. See, and then what that does is it put those both together, so I know those are both. Those are between this diffuse and that normal, or those go together anyway. You have a few hours? Yeah, I bet. I would imagine. Now, if I ever to take a guess there, you got more than 100? I'm just throwing a number out there. You got more than 100 hours in that thing? I know when you get into your favorite games, it doesn't seem to matter what it is. It's easy, I guess. It just, the hours just kind of pile on there. But I guess the way I base it on, as far as like, okay, if you're working full time, you know, be it 40 hours a week, and you know, for the month or whatever, that's 160 hours, right? So like probably a majority of your time ends up being playing games. But not to say or whatever that you're playing games full time, but I mean, it's like, that's what I find myself doing. There's a lot of games I rack up like 100 hours in a game like nothing, especially if it's something I really like playing. So be it farm sim, be it some of my racing simulation games. I mean, it's nothing for me to put 100 hours on at least in a month. I'll probably put just as much time as I would, you know, on a full-time job, and it's that's the only reason why I asked that. Because sometimes playing games is a full-time job. Alright, so now that I got that there, I know I can call these materials, but I think what I'll do is put these two. I don't want to do that. Yeah, I'll just call it for these up in there, that's fine. So now I can leave the ones in the corner shot. This one here, I can just leave these alone. I can leave those just alone. Probably the only other thing I will do later on, I'm going to rename this material name. I don't know if I've got one. I'll have to check that. Let me look at that really quick here. I know I get off on a tangent here sometimes, but sometimes it's required. Let's go into here for a second. I want to open up this map, and I want to see how many references of that material name do I have? Let's go over here. This is basically all the materials and such that are built into the map. So let's do a search for... Oh, you don't know how many hours? Are you afraid to look? Or does it really matter? I mean, it probably doesn't really matter. I was just curious. Is all. Okay, so not that one. Not that one, not that one. So there is, nope, that's still dollar data. Okay, there's that one. Nope, that's a folder, okay. Yep, this is all folder. This is all the US sign pack. We don't need that. Gas warning sign. Nope. Okay, there it is. So there's that reference. Oh, wait a minute. Oh. Okay, that's just the sign. Okay, that's not a material. That's the name of the texture, but it's not a material name. Okay, that's what I was. So let's go through this more. Corner store sign. Yep, we know that one's in there. We got that one open. Dealership sign. Okay. What I'm really wanting to get into to see if I've got there's a lot of lines in there. There's over 2,000 lines in this thing. Right, well more than 2,000 lines. So what I'm trying to get to is, as I do the search here, okay, this is what I want. So we got livestock, not that one. Okay, here's one of them. That's the material name, right? So I want to go back to this file ID, back up top there. Okay, so I need this file ID, and I want to see if this is the one that's tied to the corner store. So let's go back up. Yep, sure is. So that file ID is tied, that material name to that. That's what I want. I want to be able to change that. So I'm going to leave that open on that. So let's go back down. In fact, yeah, I'll just keep it on here and go down to this line. So eventually what I want to do is change the name of this material here so it's not so generic. Usually I'll put, for stuff like that, I want to put something like this where it says battery charger underscore mat. I like to put it that way to kind of keep it consistent that way. Some of these, the way these material names, and basically by those material names, there are these names that show up in here. The fact that it's just pretty generic in there, yeah, I just want to adjust that. So that's why I've searched for that in the map. I'll end up editing that in the map here eventually, so I'll leave that up open here in Notepad++ for now. So that'll be another task I need to do. Last night I had 8 hours playing it. So you played it for 8 hours yesterday, so well, that gives you a rough idea. I mean, that's a full day's play. Yeah, that's a solid amount of gameplay there. Yeah, so you're getting hard on that. It's good stuff. I know the only reason why I've been putting a lot of, I wouldn't even consider it gameplay, I guess, into Farm Sim, so much as I would just trying to figure out some of the problems and seeking out some of the issues that do need to be addressed is all. So as far as the quote-unquote gameplay that I did for yesterday, for Farm Sim Friday, I can't even really look at it as being gameplay, really. I mean, but it does put the hours on for it, right? It does count towards that. So I did put a solid 8 hours in yesterday for Farm Sim. Alright, so this sign here, now I got this, I think what I am going to do is just call these textures right from, go back to that folder now. I'm going to call those right from that co-op folder where I put those in here. So I'll just call them right from this folders in my material editor. So let's bring up my material editor. Okay, and we'll go into this sphere. Alright, we want standard. And then we want to navigate to that diffuse, right to that directory. I'm not going to end up saving a scene for this, there won't be any reason to. But at least when I export the i3D, it'll already be to that directory, so I shouldn't have to really edit it. Alright, so we need to go to games. Nope, wrong one. Always go to that one. I don't even know why they got that folder's got too many windows. You need to fix your crap there. Alright, so let's import textures, and then we go to this co-op folder, and then we should have our two. So I'm going to get this one initially, and we're going to go ahead and apply it. It's going to be dorked up. That seems to be the the issue, and I don't know if it's just with that OBJ format or what it is, but the texture mapping always gets screwed up, which is kind of dumb. But I may not even need, now that I think of it, I may not even need that that wood texture, because the way this other sign is done, the back is visible, whereas on this one here that I'm applying to this warehouse is not. So I probably won't even need to put a back on it, just to kind of show. So this sign here, it's got a back on it. So this is why it's got the normal map on it, to accommodate the wood that's on the back. But this side here doesn't. So as far as for this sign here, I can probably take the polys off for the back, and I don't need that. So really, now they say that I don't need this normal map for that sign. I'm just going to delete that. Okay. So all we need is just this, and I'll have to get this mapped to this sign again. And like I said, because of the because of when you export out the OBJ, I guess, from Giant's Editor, for whatever reason, when you transition it to that OBJ format, it totally steps on the texture mapping in most cases. And I don't know if it's just an issue with, I've tried to import the OBJ even into Blender. For whatever reason, when it gets transferred, that's the only option that you get out of Giant's Editor, to be able to export it out as either an i3D or an OBJ. And when you do it as an OBJ, all that texture mapping gets stepped on, and it has to be redone, which is kind of dumb, but that seems to be the nature of it. So that's what I'm dealing with here. So the way this texture on here, the reason why it's just the way it looks is because I got to redo the mapping on it. So it's to put the, now I've got this renamed. Well, it's not gonna show it there. That's right. I've got this renamed, so I'll be able to, paint it a different logo on it. So I'll make it line up, I guess, with the what I got it named here first for the fabric warehouse. Eventually, that'll be the next step here. I'll get it mapped first, and we'll go from there. Alright, so there's the mapping initially, which is still screwed up. Well, we gotta get it this way. So let's go ahead and do this, and we'll get these particular faces mapped. Now I don't really need the wood part, it's mostly all going to be in here, so I can even edit this texture so I can put the sides in this area, so I can have more area, I guess, for the front. So I have some adjustability, I guess, in this texture, being it that's going to be its own sign. It's going to be totally separate from where I took it from in the first place. Okay, so I need to grab this faces here, like so, and we'll do a quick planner, and you can already see that starting to show up on. So that texture is already starting to show up on there. That's what we want so far, and it looks like it's in the proper orientation. It's not flipped or anything, so that's good. Let's filter out the other faces on that for now. And we only want this part of the texture to be on those faces, on those polys. Alright. Okay, so now that part's on there. So now what I can do for these sides, and like I said, I'll probably edit the texture further just to kind of remove the wood. I'll make it just probably white. I mean, I could leave it wood if I wanted to, but I'll probably edit the texture or whatever to remove that, because they're going to go on the sides here as far as the thickness of the sign itself. I don't think I want those to be wood necessarily. I mean, I can, like I said, if I wanted to, but let's do these here. Oops, not that one. So go into here and do a quick planer. And I can kind of squish this up a little bit. I can use these wood planks here, I guess, as a guide to size them up at least anyway. So I'll put that one there. So that's for that side. So that's mapped. Yeah, this might necessarily grow on me. I might keep it that way. We'll see. We'll see. I'm going to move those polys on the back side here once I get this map. So we don't need these here. I'll get that after I map this. Quick planner. Oh, we'll just put this one, next one over. Yeah, I can just kind of use these planks here as a guide. Use it to my advantage. There we go. So that one's mapped. Okay, quick planer. Next one over. Alright. Planner. See these long ones, the long runs here, they seem to be populate skinnier in here. It's kind of weird than the short runs. Weird how that works sometimes. Okay, so then that one's mapped. Yeah, I might actually keep that. I don't see it not be a terrible thing. Seems a little stretched here for some reason. I don't know why. Huh. I don't know if I like, whoops, how that's, looks like it's stretched. And compared to the sides. It doesn't look terrible, but it could look better. Excuse me. Okay. Let's go ahead and collapse that mapping. And I'll go ahead and edit these polys out that I don't need on this side. We don't need these. Okay, let's take that back face right off. What do I have? Oops. What do I got here? Just making sure I don't have any other polys. So yeah, so now we don't have those polys on the back there anymore. I've only positioned this here just to kind of get an idea of what it's going to look like once I put it onto the warehouse, so I'm going to zero it out. But I think at this point, I'll go ahead and edit the texture to put what we want to show on this. So let's go into our paint program. We'll open this up. And let's go into here. This does have bitmaps, cool. And I don't believe it's got a... Nope, so no alpha in it. Okay, cool. So, all we want to do is be able to design this to something for fabric warehouse. And I've got an idea. Let me go ahead and bring this over here. So let's see here. I've got it named Joanne's Fabrics, which is an actual business in my area. That's kind of what the inspiration was for it. So I'm thinking that's what I want to use. Something similar to it. Whoops, my bad. Let's go to images. Yeah, this is kind of a more modern. Yeah, so just to kind of give you an idea of what, let's do, tab, window, let's go over here. So this is kind of what I'm looking at as far as, this is based on, there's a lot of different variations, I guess, of that design. So depending if I go more modern, I could do something like this. But probably what I would do is just make it, you know, fabric warehouse, but use that same, you know, design, I guess, as far as the style, I guess, of the logo itself. Joanne Plus. Ooh, this is a nice one here. That's pretty beefy there. I could probably do something with that one. But like I said, I would probably just put it as this is the Joanne Fabric Warehouse. Alright, let's do that. Let's do save as. Let's put that right to the desktop. So we'll modify it a little bit. Okay, let's go to. We're gonna save that. There it is. Yeah, this will work. Nice. Okay, so I want to maintain. I might have to get a different. I got a grunge map on that, so I'll look for a grunge map as well while I'm at it. And that's all it is. Just add some like you know, like some wear on the billboard itself, so it's not just, you know, like a really flat, simple color. Adds a little dirtiness and or grunge to it. Hence the grunge map. Let's see here what looks good. I like to look for ones that aren't too dark. I like to look for ones that have a little bit of dark to it, but not a lot of dark. You know, like these here are a little too dark. That one's way too dark. This one's pretty neat. There's some cool ones in here. Yeah, see, like this one's pretty cool. I might be able to do something with that. That's got a watermark in it though. Crap. Try to stay away from the ones that have a watermark in it, because that will usually show up in the texture. What about this one? That one's pretty mild there. Let's see. That one's kind of a little plain. Whoops. Oh, this one. That one's pretty neat. That's got some nice grunge on it. That one does have a little bit of watermarks in it, but that might not be too bad. Let's try this one out. Let's try it out. That's not too bad of a watermark. That's fine. Let's try this one out. That's a reasonable reasonable amount of watermark on it, I should say. So let's take this. Yeah, you can see it's got a watermark on it. I could probably even clean that up a little bit if I need to. First, remove the watermark on it. I think that should be pretty good though. Once I get it sized up and whatever, it won't matter too much. Let's see here. This is at 256 tall. So let's do 256 tall. Alright, what is the size of... Hold on. Let's do this even better. How wide is this here? Copy that. I'm doing edit paste as an image. So we're 256 tall and 589 wide. So 256 tall. I'm going to take this off and put 589 wide. So it's going to distort it a little bit, but that's fine. So that'll put that the same size as our sign there. So I can close that. And then what I'll do is I'll edit, copy this grunge as a new layer under this. And we'll delete that out so I can get the marquee. Like so. Now what I'll do is, see, you can't even hardly see that watermark at this point after resizing, especially once I apply this as a multiply. You won't even be able to tell. Now it's still got the, as of right now, it's still got the grunge that's already on the original texture, so it's going to look a little bit darker. So let's do this, add another layer, and we'll fill this in with some white on this layer. Now you get to see how that will look. And now I need to cut out on this half the textures. I still want that wood to show like that. So this is going to be where our main sign is now. So that'll be our new. So there's the grunge as a multiply. Now if I put our logo, this one here, I think what I'm going to do, yeah, I'm going to edit this a little bit. Let's promote this to a layer. Whoops. What the heck? Why is it not? Hold on. That's weird. Okay, hold on. I thought I was trying to promote that to a layer. I don't know if that's Oh, I know why. It's not 16 million colors. Just happened to notice that. So we need to convert this to 60 million. There we go. Now we should be able to convert that to a layer. There we go. Yeah, you have to have it in 16 million colors to be able to promote it to a layer in here. So, alrighty then. So let's go into here. We'll do the magenta. Fill this in like that. Okay, maybe bring up the tolerance a little bit. I know another thing I wanted to do is cut this part out. Don't want that part. Let's bump the tolerance up. That's better. Cool. Now I can take my magic wand, spank all that out. This is what I like about logos like that, being able to spank out, I guess, any background color, especially when it's white. Alright, so now with this, I can take that and paste this into here as a new layer. Actually, I want that on top of the white, my bad. So like that, and then I can size it up from here. Whoops, wrong layer. No, don't move that layer. There we go. So I want to size this layer up. Like so. And I might even add... Yeah, I think I'm going to leave room. I'm going to put this Joann's Fabric Warehouse. Plural. So leave room for an apostrophe S. And I'm not probably going to be too concerned, I guess, with the font of it. I'll just put the apostrophe S on it. We'll find a font that'll fit well enough. Alright, so yeah, let's grab this color. Yep. Turn this one off. Go into our fonts here and see what we can get here. So we want to turn italic off. So we'll do... Alright, definitely want to make it a little bit bigger. Well, it's going to depend on the font. Let's try a different font here. Let's go up here. See what we got here. I'm thinking probably something like that. I'll just make it a little bit bigger. Way bigger. Okay, so this. That might be pretty reasonable. Let's take the bold off it. It's not really much different. Okay, let's size this up. Kind of almost don't like the way don't know if I like that font or not. No, I don't think I really like that font. Okay, let's try something else here. Let's delete that. Let's try a different font. Let's try a little something else. I thought maybe that would fit. Not really feeling it. That's too plain. Yeah, that's too plain. Let's try another one. Let's go down to... What's another one I like? There's another one I like in here, which is... Too simple. Oh. I don't know if I like the apostrophe on that, though. Yeah, I just don't like the apostrophe on these. Too thick. Ooh. Yeah, I don't like the apostrophes on these Helveticas. Too simple. Yeah, way too simple. Okay. I mean, I can always use a different font for the apostrophe than I do with the... Gosh darn it. Than I do for the... that's always possible too. So if I get halfway decent S... That seems to fit. I can always use a different apostrophe for the font. But I guess I want to try and find something that'll go together. That's a little too slimline there. Stencil. No. Looks cool, but it doesn't fit the rest of the font. Yeah, it's too simple there. No. Okay, what about... Not quite. Well, this is a bummer. Let's see. Acme font. See, I like the apostrophe on that one, but I don't know if I like the S. Let's take the bold off it. That might not be too bad, actually. I think I might go with this. Let's bring it up here. This one's kind of growing on me. Yeah. I can dig that one. Let's do that. I do want to size it up. It's a little bit too close to the edge. I want to kind of bring that in a little bit. So let's go into deformation here. I'm going to squeeze this down a little bit. Just a little bit. Alright, and then we'll go and whoops. Close that out. Now for this. Really? Hello? There we go. I just want to slide this over. Whoops. I get super OCD, I guess, about that. I want to make sure it's level. That's not too bad. Now what I'll do is I'll just put Fabric Warehouse, and I'll probably just do it in simple Helvetica text under below it, and I'll use just probably black. Okay. So we'll do F8. I'll have to resize this down, obviously. But other than that, okay, that one's in an Acme font. You know what? This one here may not look too bad either. Let's bring this down to 48. See how that looks. That may not be too bad either. Let's bring it down one more font size. I was just thinking simple Helvetica, but this might not be too bad either. That might not be too bad. Now, I just want to clarify too. What did I name that cell point exactly? I thought it was Fabric Warehouse. I just want to make sure. I don't know if I just called it Warehouse or Fabric Warehouse. So I need to go to that cell point. Getting real picky on that. I want to make sure it matches with the way I've got the cell point icon. So, cell points. So I just got his Joanne's Fabrics. Okay, so. Okay. So I might just, instead of the warehouse, I'll just call it Joanne's Fabrics, I think. That's what I wanted to confirm. Alright, so let's redo this. So even though it is a warehouse, I just want to name it as that. So in this case, I can actually go up on the size. Yeah, this will work. Let's see what this looks like if I put it at 72. Is that going to be too big? Maybe not. Nah, not really. That's cool. We'll dig with that. Let's go ahead and convert this to a raster. And I want to combine this one and that one. Yep. So let's do this. And we'll do layers, merge, visible. So those will both merge. There we go. So there's our grunge with the. Now what I want to do on this, I got those both merged. I want to apply an effect to this. Let's do an inner bevel, just to kind of give it a little bit more dynamic to it. I don't want too much to it, but just to kind of give it a little bit of attitude. It's not really showing up on the black as much as I'd like. Showing up on that one better, so I might have to do these separate. Let's cancel this for a second. So what I'll do is I'll separate that out, and I'll apply a different type of effect to the fabrics. So let's do let's copy it out. Yeah, I'll keep that out. So do it as a new layer. Oh gosh darn it. Hate when I get in the wrong layer. Goofy. Grab the layer. Thank you. Alright, now what I can do is take the one in here out. Okay, so now I don't have it in there, so now I just have that one in there and this one in there. So now I'll be able to do the effect on separately. So we'll do it on this one, this one. Whoops. I meant to do the Joanne's one. There we go. So let's do effects. Here, bubble. There we go. So we'll get this one. Let's bump it up a tad. Oops, not that much. That'll work. And then on the fabrics, this one I just need to change the color or something. Yeah. Let's see. It's already on white. I wonder why that doesn't show. Might have to do a different effect on this one here. Let's see. Let's try. I don't know if I like that. I don't like how it's switching to the black. Okay, so the shadow color, I guess I can change that. I get it. So let's do this. We'll do that. And then this one. Don't know how I feel about that one. I don't know if I like that. That's not too bad. Okay, let's do this. Oops. That's not too bad. Let's check out with that. Now let's see if we go apply. Yeah, that's kind of what I was looking for there. So it's got a little bit of a raised effect. Cool. I think that'll work. So we do have the grunge. It's on top of that. So you can see the difference between having the grunge and not. So I can change the dynamic of that. Add or subtract from it. See that difference. It kind of looks not too bad. I like that. Cool beans. Alright, so let's do merge all that. And we'll save that. And it did have bitmaps on it, so DDS, DTX5, or no, DTX1, no alpha, with bitmaps. So just to confirm that it saved that, that's going to be in our imports, textures. Oh, this freaking gnat that's in here, it's bugging me. Get out of here. Alright, co-op. Alright, so just making sure it did save that right there. Cool. Now what I should be able to see is that new texture on here. I gotta reload it. And there we go. There's our new sign. Marvelous. Alright, so I'll be able to put that wherever I want on this building, but that'll be just to get an idea how that's going to look on there. Alright, so that's done. Let's take the warehouse out. Just use that as a guide. Scale it up. Now what I'll do is center this. Zero it out. And I didn't really modify the size of it as far as that, but I will check to make sure that the pivot is centered, which it is, and we'll check the X form. See what we got here. So we do reset X form. That's good. Collapse that down. Cool. So that's all good to go. Now I'll just rename this to. I'll just put fabric warehouse sign.
Stay home, save lives, help stop coronavirus.
Whoops.
1. Stay home as much as you can.
Yeah, I don't need to hear that. Skip. How did we get over here? I don't know how we got to this, but let's bring that back over to here. Kind of like this one that TechnoAxis got with this one here. There we go. Not sure how it navigated to that, but we'll get it right back to where we need it to be. Cool. Alright, so this is all zeroed out. Check the X form on it so we can export this out. The other thing I want to do, I just remembered that, this is kind of what I want to do to the other corner sign. God, this freaking gnat. I'm going to get you. Alright, so yeah, I want to change this name to we'll do fabric sign underscore mat. That'll work. And then I'll do something similar, I guess, to that other one that I've got called up. And here I'll edit that in the map. Here, I'll name this one similar. I'll do, yeah, like corner sign mat or something like that. that's something else I want to do in a bit. First, what I'll do is I'll get this exported out. Get that done. Okay, so let's do export. Let's put this right to desktop as a i3D. And doesn't matter what I name the i3D, just want to bring it in. Export that out. Cool. Now that should be on my desktop right here. Now we'll just check to make sure the nope, so I'll have to edit this anyway. You need to edit it anyway, so let's do this. I'll put it because I'm going to put this i3D right in that folder where it is at the co-op, so it has that. See, I can edit it here too, but I can also apply that prior to the export. So if that's carrying over, that's what I want. As far as that material name. Save that. Now I can take this i3D, cut that and paste it into here. It's going to put it down there, it's fine. So we'll go into the map here, we'll go back to our warehouse, and we'll apply it to it. So we'll do File, Import, navigate to that folder. Dairyland, imports, textures, co-op, sign. Cool, no errors. Awesome, so we'll do cut that, paste that here. Fantastic, so now I've got that. Oh, I wanted to actually put that, hold on, cut. Paste in here. Beautiful. So, whoops. I guess I didn't read it. I got a typo in that. I'll fix it up. We can fix that right there. Cool. So now we got that sign all in the same transform here. So it'll be all one piece basically. So now we can move it out this way. It's probably going to need to be turned. We need to take the rigid body out of that too. So I think there's already a rigid body here, yes. Yes, yes, yes. So I can take it out of this. We don't need the rigid body there. Was that other sign here? Was that set to 10? Yes, it was. Okay. That's fair. I think I must have to turn this. What in the world? What is going on here? Where the heck's the sign? Hold on just a second, folks. I'll be right back. Alright, folks, we're back. I apologize for that little interruption there, but I need to figure out why in the world. Where's our sign at here? Where did it put that? Okay, so it is in here. Just gotta pull it out. There we go. Yeah, at first there I thought I wasn't sure what's going on there. He's right here. Okay. So we probably want to put this in a -90. Like so. And we'll put that up on the building. And get it focused back on there a little bit better. So you can see where that original there, it's actually raised a little bit too. So that building eventually does need to get edited at some point, but I might need to scale this sign up just a little bit too, just to kind of cover some more of that. That's no problem. I could have done that right in Max itself, but I can also scale it in here, so that's not too much of a big deal. This must not be 100% at 90 degrees on this building. Let's see here. Well, it's showing it as 90. Interesting. I'm just noticing on this here, even though I got it at 90, it could be just the angle that I'm looking at it there. And we'll bury it just a little bit there, but I'm going to make it a little bit taller probably. I did not realize, I guess that thing is right in the way of that stupid light there. So I might move that light. I was trying to get this shined on the actual trigger there, but I'm seeing if I put the sign here, that light would be right into it. I want to try and cover that as much as possible. Yeah, I'll probably move that light down. I could probably put it over top of this door. Let's do that. Let's try to put that over top of this door. I want to get it below that so I can put the sign. Oh, don't you dare crash on me. I will beat your butt. Yeah, I'll definitely have to test this in the map too to see how this is going to whoops, won't be doing that. Make sure I got the main transformer there, that's for sure. Alright, I think that's well enough below. I think that would probably be fine. Putting it there, I just don't know how it's going to look with the sign. Let's put it down a little lower here. Something like that. That's not too bad. Then I can move this sign down, cover up that ugliness there. Like I said, I'll have to make it taller as far as to scale it. Let's get the sign somewhat centered over that. So I'm using this line right here, I guess it's kind of a guide to center that up. So the width of it's not too bad, I just want to scale it up this way. This might be bigger than I wanted. Wow, darn it. Might turn out bigger than I want it to be, but man, that's a big. Holy mackerel. Gosh darn it, quit getting to rotate. I want to cover up as much as that as I possibly can. For that matter, I could probably put a sign, or a light, I mean, on this sign. I mean, it won't be super critical, I guess, to do that, but that's an option too. That's good there. It's got a little bit showing there. Maybe just a little bit more. Alright, that should do it. Now, whether or not I want to put a sign, light on this thing, I guess it's not really necessary, but now we got a sign on there at least. At least we got the light shining on the delivery spot there. I do have a light here. I mean, I could put a... Yeah, we'll have to test it and see. Might just leave it like that. So there's two other spots. Here and here. My goodness. And I think there's some over here too. Nope, just on that side. I don't know if I want to put that sign in the two spots there. Because one spot's more than enough on that side. But I think I want to put some type of thing on top of this though, because that's just ugly. At least up until this building will get redone, I guess, at some point. But I want to get one of them over here at least anyway, for sure. Let's take this. Duplicate it. Bring it over this side. Yep. I at least want to get it. I don't know what I'm going to do, I guess, for I could probably make another sign and actually put like some fabric rolls or something on it. Just to kind of give it a little bit more flair. I could do that. Cover that other spot. That's an option, I suppose. Okay. I dig that. Yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll make another sign based on the same construct here, but I'll apply let me apply a different thing on it there, so we can make, based on this one here, let's see here, apply different texture. So let's make fabric warehouse sign B. Yeah, let's bring this up here. I'm gonna look for a fabric roll, and I don't remember if I saved the one for when I made the one for the store. I probably didn't, so we'll just have to make another one. Or what I could do is go to, let's try this here. This might work too. Let's go to gosh darn it, you can always go to that one. Over here, mods. That'll be in maps, placeables. And that's going to be under Fabric Factory Store. I really don't need to have map maps in there, so kind of this deal. But I might use something different. Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to look up something similar to that. Let's see. Yeah, let's look in here. So let's look up fabric roll drawing. Let's see what we got. So we could do something like something that has a multitude, I guess, of fabric rolls as a drawing. So something like that. That's a little small, but we got several other examples here. Could even do something like this. Let's do show more. Let's see. I don't know if I like any of those. Let's go back. I don't like any of these really. Some of these are pretty good, but it's not really calling out to me. Nope. Where was that one that had? Gotta find it again. I can't find it. There was one in here that looked pretty good, and I forgot I lost it. What the heck was that under? Crap. And of course I'm not going to be able to find it again. That's the way it always works. Dang it, anyway. Where the hell did that go? This one. Yeah, this one right here. This one might not be too bad. This one bigger? Yeah, this one's even bigger. I don't know if I like that one or not. Let's try it anyway. We'll do say this, this, and this here. Let's give it a whirl. So where to put that? Right here. Let's see what we got here. So basically what I'll end up doing is taking out, you want to keep the grunge, take these two out, take this, copy that, paste it here. Oh yowza, that's pretty big. Alright, let's undo that. So we need to get it sized down a little bit here. So let's do at least the 256. Oh man, we gotta change the color palette here. Let's do 16 million. Okay, and then image resize. Oh, whoops. Gotta put the alright, so put this on 256 tall. There, that'll get it in the general vicinity. Like that. Oh crap, so it's got a okay. So it must have a background to it. Didn't realize. It's got a light background to it, so let's do this. Let's see if we can flood that out. Let's do the magenta. Okay. And then we'll take that out of there. There we go. So I must have had a really light. Yeah, you can see it in this part here. So I'll keep that the way it is. That'll be fine. Now let's do imagery size 56. And paste that as a new layer. Yeah, that's better. Now I could probably do different colors, I guess, of these, you know, kind of like stacked. That might look better. So in other words, I could pick some colors here like orange. Go like this. So there's that one. Should probably put these in different layers. Let's do that. Gosh darn it. I'm moving that grunge. So I can do something like this. Nope. Alright, let me turn the grunge off for now. Keep grabbing that grunge, so I just move these around. Alright, so let's put this one over here. This one here, and we'll make this one this blue color. And it doesn't matter if it matches exactly to that. So do that, and we'll grab another one. And then we'll do an edit paste as new layer. Yeah, that's going off the sign there. Okay, so I gotta keep it about there. to make sense, at least anyway. I can kind of stagger these a little bit, I guess, too. Let me see if I can, let's do a deformation. No, I don't want to turn it that way. Crap. Not that way. I wanted to see if I could turn it that way, but I don't think I can do that. No, it's not going to let me do it that way. No. I can size it that way, but yeah, it's only letting me spin it the one way, so I don't really want that. Don't want that. I don't know, that doesn't look too bad. Let's make this one kind of a pink color. Something like that. Let's try that. Alright, now we'll put the grunge back on it. Alright, now I don't need to name this one something separate. So probably this fabric warehouse sign B. That'd probably be good. So do layers, merge all, flatten. File, save as. Are you freaking... Why does it do this? I just saved one. That makes absolutely no sense. Why did he do this to me? Oh my god. Alright, so this one I can, did I cut that? I think I did off the desktop. Yeah, I did. So let's bring this back out. I'm going to edit this. I'm going to cut this back out. It's basically going to be the same sign. Now I don't know why. I've been having this issue with the DDS plugin. I don't know why. It's kind of irritating. Because it allowed me to save this one, but now it doesn't want me to. It won't allow me to save this one. What the heck is up with that? I didn't step on this one, which is good. Why won't it let me save? Huh. I might have to do it as a... This is ridiculous. I don't understand that. It's been frickin' doing that. I don't understand that. Because even when I do save it in Paint Shop and try to load it up in Paint Shop again, I get that error as I did earlier. That's super annoying. I don't know what the hell is up with that DDS plugin. Oh man, it's just annoying. God, this freaking gnat. Still hanging around here. Okay. Alright, let me try and save this as a... I'm gonna do it this way. This first. So let's put this on the desktop. We'll save this as a PSD. And I'm gonna do this way. As a PSD. And then what I'll do is I'll close out. I'll have all those layers in there that way. Just close this out. So far we're good on all this stuff anyway, so that's alright, so let's close this right out. And I'm gonna reopen that PSD. Okay, what's up with that? God dang it anyway. Super annoying. Don't know what the heck is up with that, but oh well. Open with Paint Shop Pro. Something I did along the line there must not have liked it. But anyway. Yep, so there's that there. So we'll try and... Yep, just like it is there. So let's do layers, merge all, flatten, and that might be... Did I not flatten it? I thought I did. Maybe not. Oh well. File, save as... I don't remember if I flattened it or not. That might have potentially caused that to... So now we want to save this as sign B. There we go. DTX1, generate map maps. Okay. Now it's going to put that on. That's fine. Now what I can do is... I'm going to go ahead and copy that to here. Okay, so now that's in there. Now I'll be able to edit this, because I got the same constraint, it's the same conform, I guess, with the texture for the other sign. All I got to do is just tell it to use this texture, this new texture that I did. And I'll have to rename this one here sign B, like so, so that it has a different material name. Otherwise it'll want to use that same material, I guess, for the other sign. So you have to make sure this is important, I guess, to make sure that that's, so it uses this texture. Otherwise it'll use the texture for the other sign. So save that, get out of that, and then we'll take this, take this and cut it. Oops. Take that and cut it to here. And now we'll import that sign. Now this sign I can probably make it a little bit smaller. I don't need it to be as wide or whatever it is though, so let's bring it back in here. Alright, so we'll go File, Import. Right in that front of us. Yep, we'll just open this one back up. Now it's going to have this in here. I'm going to change the name on this one. I guess I should have done that in the i3D. That's okay. Let's do it like that. Now we'll cut this and stick it into here. Like so. Cool. So now that has... Yep, it has its own material name, and then it has that material. Cool. Alrighty then, so now we just gotta position it into that spot. There should be. Looks like we need to do rotate. Zero it out here. Cool. So now that'll be two independent signs with separate texture. Now as I do this, I just realized some of the editing I did to the map, as far as to put the ferry docks and all that stuff like that. I guess that won't be too much of a deal. Only did the little bit of terraforming, I guess, on that one end. Yeah, so this probably it shouldn't matter too much. I'll be able to take those out if I need to. I still have the other backup of the. I'm gonna change the scale of this one though. This sign, so it's a little different. So in other words, I'll do this. You know what? I still got the scale for the. We got it at 1769. Let's put that on here too. Let's copy that and put that to this sign so we know that's the same height at least. Wow, it's already pretty close. I'm gonna get that gnat here sooner or later. Yeah, and I think I might just shrink up the width on it just a little bit. I don't think I need it that wide. Let's focus on it. Alright, what is the... This would be the X translate. I got that on this one here. What do I got the X translate on that one? Let's put them at the same. So I know they're at the same level. There we go. So we got those two signs at the same level. I don't know. What do we think? I could probably leave it just like that. It's not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. Yeah, so that gives it some badging on it. I guess you kind of tell what's going on with it anyway now. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, so this this map that I've got open here, I've got the docks for the ferry, all that stuff in here between that, and I did do some terrain editing, I guess, for this one over here, which isn't a super big deal, I suppose. Yeah, I went and added all this in here, which, yeah, I don't think it'd be too bad. It wasn't anything super duper major, so we got that much done. So now our textures are made for that. We don't need this anymore. Let's get out of that. Am I still in the Technoac stuff? Yes, I am. I am going to go back to... Is that the beginning of that? Second. There we go. That's better. Actually... Yep, that's the one I want right there. Sorry, I just started it back over. Okay, cool. Just making sure I was on the right one. Okay, so let's, yeah, so I think even if I were to save the map this way here, I still got that other backup here. I don't think it'd be too much of an issue. I am going to have to tackle... I know what will happen... Shoot. If I save this, I probably... let me do this. I'm going to take a snippet of this so I know what to look for after I save the map, because I want to be able to... There we go. So I'll keep this on the snippet here. That way I know what to look for when I need to edit this one. What I want to do is rename this one to... I forgot what it said. So this one I did as... Whoops, I need to take the rigid body out of that. That's good. Rigid body out of that and that. Cool. I did have this one. Whoops. Darn it. Okay, fabric sign, so I would just do it as corner sign mat, something like that. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, let's go ahead and bring it back over here. Let's focus on this. And we'll go ahead and save the map. Save the map. Excuse me. Whoops, we need to put this on i3D. Save the map. Give that a second or two, and then close the map out, and then I'll edit that that material name, I guess, for that other sign to kind of line it up, I guess, with make it a little less generic and be more confined, I guess, to what it actually belongs to. Alright, so that's saved. We'll go ahead and close this out. And the reason, see, this is what I was talking about. So because I saved that, this version of the map by 3D that I've got open here, that's been changed. That's why I had to take a snippet of that so I know what to look for. So I'll have to close this and reopen that i3D. This I can take out again. In fact, I can just delete that. I don't need it anymore. So the only two new textures that I've applied here is the co-op here in the textures. Just for reference. Now, I need to reopen the map in the Notepad++. So let's go back to maps. And then now I know what to search for, so I save this snippet. So I need to look for this ID. So file ID 1586. So I'm going to search, and it should be still in my search there actually. So I kind of safeguarded myself by taking a snippet anyway. So that's the uh-oh, did this screw up? Oh, I must have realigned it. So it applied my new sign, I guess, is that file ID. So when I saved it, so that's another reason why it so my corner store sign, I'll have to look up that corner store sign again and see what it named that. So it applied the file ID 1586 to that new sign, the one I just made. So I need to search for corner. Let's do this one here. That was my original one, so do corner, which is now 1587. Okay, so that's the new file ID that is assigned to that. That's the diffuse though, my bad. So it's 1588 right here. That's our corner. That's the one I want to change. So I got to look for this file ID in the material name. So let's go like this. So yeah, that's what happens when, especially when you're adding new textures. I added the two new textures. It realigns all the file IDs. So that's why it had that message come up there that I had that version of the map by 3D open in Notepad++, was because all those are realigned. It wanted to know if I wanted to reload that, so I just reloaded it. I closed that out and reloaded it the manual way, just to ensure, I guess, I had the proper map by 3D open. So now when I search for this is going to be the one I want to edit. And I'm going to go ahead and edit this to, we'll do corner sign and then underscore map. Cool. So I know that one. Between that, this, and that normal map, that's on Joe's meat shop. That's what that one's for. Alright, so we want to save that. Close it. And we'll go ahead and open up the map, and then that should comply now. We'll go from there. Alright. Looks like I always gotta load this up again. I don't know why, but it just does that. Whatever reason. Let's give that a second to load. There we go. So now we don't have any errors. That's always first and foremost. Want to make sure we don't have any errors, which we don't. That's good. Very good. Very good. Very good. So we're good. We got that. That's all got its signage and whatever. I don't know. Made those minor adjustments. So that much is done. Okay. So that's off the list. Cross that off. Now I got a ground marker that I need to adjust over by the slurry sails. That's another thing I'm gonna do. I'm doing all these minor things first before I really get back into before I really get back into the dealing with the ferry, because it's yeah, see how I got this is clipped it here. It's only a particular angle though. It's just kind of interesting. See, at that angle it's fine. That's weird. Yeah, but I did notice this in the game as far as it was clipped in the ground, so I need to fix that. Not the exact fill route, but the so it's probably gonna be a matter of I have to smooth out or level out the ground here at this point. So let's see here. Let's go. We do have it on the terrain, so let's do this. I'm gonna put this on a square. Lift that up. We'll back it up. So we want to get it the same level as this one. Say, let's do Control R, and then we'll put this on replace. And we only want to deal with it if it's higher first. Let's try that. Yeah. So at this, yeah, see how that's kind of weird how that clips into the ground like this at this angle. That's what I noticed it in the game. It's clipped in the ground like that. That's kind of really weird. There we go. See, we just kind of smoothed that out there. So what I did was did a replace. So obviously it was higher because the marker was clipped and you know the ground was over top of it. So obviously that would make the assumption that that's the ground is taller there. So what I did was I copied and did a replace, I guess, as far as what level this is at, to ensure I guess I can get this one at that level, and then set a button I guess to be able to. So now that should all be at the same level. Very minor adjustment, but I noticed that in the game. So now when we look at it from any angle, it doesn't clip into the ground. Perfect. Alright, so that's done. Just some minor adjustments like that. So that's that one. Okay, so that's done. I've got this issue here, and I thought I had fixed it, but I wrote it down here again. I guess as far as on field 30, I've got an issue with. Yeah, let me go check that out again. So we'll go to field 30. Let's go to our fields. And let's go to field 30. So field 30 should be this one here. Alright, so let's zoom over there. And that should be this field right here. Yep. So on this edge, with the farmlands, I keep getting that message that pops up that you don't own this land when you get on this edge, particularly on a, yeah, when you're doing the work yourself. So I need to fix that, obviously. Okay, so let's I need to go into farmlands. That's what I need. So let's go here. Set this to farmland. And here, so we can see. This is what I kind of don't understand. I got it going. This land is all the way to the road. So for some reason I'm getting don't own this land, I guess, when you start working this edge of the field. So I'm not 100% sure why. I might have to try it on a brand new save game, because I've only noticed it do that on a the save game that I'm current save game that I'm saying. So well, even though I've adjusted the farmland, I seem to still be getting that message. So I might have to test it in a new save game for that field, just to see what's happening there. And like I said, it only shows up, I guess, when you're doing the work on it yourself, you know, as far as opposed to a hired worker. Hired workers don't seem to have an issue with it. They tend to get to the edge of the field, even though the power pole and all that good stuff's there. So I'm going to keep that on my list here, but I'll have to test that. I'll have to go into the game on a new save game and actually test that field. So that'll probably be what I'll do next, just to confirm, I guess, that doesn't need to be adjusted, because based on what I can see here, I shouldn't have to that should not have that. When I buy that land, it should not do that. So let's get out of that. We'll keep that open. We're going to go ahead in the game and test that. Okay, so I don't need this anymore. That at least gave me an idea of what I needed to adjust there back then. Okay, so we're all good there. Moving right along. Okay, so what I want to do is get this set up so I can go into the game itself. Alright, so we got all this stuff saved out here. I'll keep that. Most of that we're pretty much all done with. We're pretty much all good to go. Yeah, let's go in the game. We'll go ahead and test that. Did that thing shut off again? Sure the heck did. Why does that do that? That's super annoying too. This thing here from keeps my video card cool. It keeps shutting off. I don't know why. God dang it, that thing was cooking. So if you hear the fan kick on there, that's probably why. I don't know why that's been shutting off. That's super annoying too. It keeps shutting that off for some reason. I don't know why that is, but I always have to make sure that that's running before going to the game, because otherwise that will cook. That definitely will cook the GPU there. It was already at 60, which is already more than halfway to boiling. Alright, so that's in Celsius, obviously. Alright, so let's go into the game here and go check this out. Field 30. So what we'll do is we'll go into a brand new save game. We'll give ourselves some money, all that stuff. I got the easy development controls. And we'll buy that Field 30, and we'll take some equipment out there, I guess, and we'll do some work on it as far as like the plow or something like that. Let's see if we get that message coming up. And then I can also probably go into our save game and just confirm that as far as like that I have been getting that message coming up there, even though the farmland that I just showed in the Giants editor was already corrected. So let's do a brand new save game first. New farmer on our map. Alright, it's going to turn some things off here. Some of the stuff I don't need. I do want that. I don't need seasons or stuff, man, or that. Cool. Let's just load all that up. We'll get this all loaded up. Get us set up so we can purchase Field 30. We'll attempt to do some field work, and we'll focus mostly on that one edge there by the road to see if we get that message or not. For you don't own this field, and even though we should once we buy it. Like I said, based on the farmland, the way that is there, that should definitely be purchased. It shouldn't be giving us that message, but if it does, then not really sure. So the load times I've noticed on the map tend to be a little bit longer ever since the latest update to the game. It's been updated to 1.6, and I'm not sure it's because of the update. As far as I know, on the map, nothing on the map itself is needed to be updated, I guess, to comply, I guess, to 1.6. So not sure. I guess it's just the way the game loads now, I guess, with that new 1.6 update. Okay. I want to turn off the automatic save. Don't want to save that. Okay, now we want to give ourselves some money. So we want to be able to buy. In fact, let's look and see how much does that cost us to buy Field 30. So Field 30, which is right over here. Cost us 133,565. So I'll go ahead and just give myself a you know, at least that much money, if not a little bit more. I'll go ahead and buy some equipment, have it all delivered right there with the store deliveries. So let's go ahead into here. I'll get myself, let's say 500. That should be enough. We start off with 100 anyway, so let's go to that farm. Spawn over to here, and then we'll set up the. Whoa! What is with the frame rates, dude? What the heck is up with that? Yeah, this has got this. I noticed this kind of Friday too. I don't know why this is doing that. That's super crazy. I'm assuming that's because of the 1.6 update. So, yikes! I might come back in here, try to reload the game, because that's super not cool. Yeah, let's go do that, because that's gonna be super not cool. Let's yep. That's only started doing that ever since the 1.6 update, and I'm not sure what's exactly causing it. I haven't looked in all the stuff that has been updated based on that 1.6 update, so we're just going to close it out, and we're going to try it again here. Sometimes it's just a matter of restarting the game when it does that, just to clear the shader cache without even physically going into that location and purging out the shader cache. But you can purge out the shader cache directly. There's a procedure for that, so you can go into your main game directory here, for example, and there's a folder in here called shoot, now I'm having a brain fart. Yeah, here it is, shader cache. And basically what it is, you can see all the different times that it's loaded. So this was the most recent. I always usually try to, my approach to this, when I do delete the shader cache, I always delete the latest one, as opposed to everyone. So these are all the times that it's loaded a new shader cache. You can delete those. Most of the time my approach to it is just to kind of just delete them, or just copy them out of here. So in other words, just select all. And they're not very big files, but once you confirm that your game loads fine, you can usually get rid of them. So I'll cut these out of here and paste these into a folder here. This is my approach to the shader cache files, at least anyway. So I got, as you can tell, I have several. I haven't had any reason to do this in a while, but this is the general approach that I take, I guess, as far as removing the shader cache files. And a lot of times when they do an update, that's what'll be required, I guess, as far as to clear that out there, so that when you load the game up, it's going to do its thing. And it will take a little bit longer for it to produce those. So as far as load times on it, it's expected, I guess, to be slower. It's going to take a little bit longer. Not that much longer, you know, maybe, you know, an extra couple minutes or so than usual, but okay. So we can go into a new career. Yep. And we'll do a new save game. New farmer. Go to our map. This up. Yeah, and I'll just turn off these particular ones. Seasons, and stop. Cool. And we'll get that to load. So if this does take a little bit longer now, the reason would be because I took those shader cache files out. So for anybody that does necessarily run into the issue of slow loading times, or if you have the frame rate issues like I did there prior to closing at that, especially after an update to the game, that's the process that you would want to follow as far as to remove it. Either to delete those shader cache files out of that folder in your root game install, not your Steam location, but in your documents, as I've shown. You don't want to touch the stuff in the game install, as far as if you got it on Steam, for example. Don't want to touch those. That's why they got that shader cache file within your documents there. That's where you want to take those out. So yeah, if it does necessarily take a little bit longer for it to load, by removing those shader cache files, that would be why. And also, especially if not only a game update, but if you do update your graphics drivers, that's another reason, I guess, to you know, to update or purge out, I guess, any outstanding shader cache files. All right, so we're loaded up here. Let's see if that changed our situation here. Yep. So now we're back to. Whoop. So in some areas, yeah, depending on where you look, there it's gonna drop a little bit. And that's because of the trees and stuff like that. That's to be expected. But it's not dropping like it was. Drops there. I noticed it drops there just a little bit. Yeah. See, once it's loaded in there, you know, it's building that shader cache file. That'll tend to calm down. Yeah. It's not really too bad. All right. So let's go ahead and turn off the autosave. That's what I always like to do. I don't, because when I do these tests like this, I don't need that to save. And a lot of times it'll usually end up taking me longer than 15 minutes, I guess, to do those things. So let's go and spawn over to the Watson farm. Field 30. Cool. See, now we don't have that issue with the frame rates after doing that shader cache. Much better result. Okay, so let's create it. Let's move our store delivery point over to this spot. A little bit of a stutter there. It's building that shader cache file. So as you move around the map, it's building that shader cache. So you might get a stutter here and there. That's normal. It's not, see, it'll stutter there a little bit. So it's building that shader cache as you kind of move around. So the more you move around on the map, it'll build that shader cache file, and that'll smooth out over time. That's nothing to be alarmed about as far as when you get that hesitation in there. It's just the game itself building that new shader cache. And it'll change probably, you know, when you move out that shader cache. A lot of times as you go into different maps, that shader cache will have to be rebuilt based on the settings for that other map that you go into, for example. Alright, so what I want to do first, I need to give myself some money. And I think I gave myself a $500,000 last time. So we'll do that again. Now we confirmed that our frame rates are better. Let's move our store point, our store deliveries point, to this spot. And we'll give ourselves a tractor and a plow. Something to plow with. So let's do... yeah, let's do this. Let's give ourselves some wheels. Get some doubles on it. Cool. And we'll just go ahead and we'll just lease it. It's just a test. We're not going to worry about that. That way I want to know I have enough money, because I still got to buy that land. Okay. Let's go into that. Let's buy the land. So we can do the work. Now you can see, even on here, as far as the way that land has got that boundaries, it creates this gray boundary. And I noticed this on every map. It creates like a buffer automatically when you're in the farmland, so it doesn't bring it as close to the road, you know, in this view as it does in Giants areas as shown. So I don't know if that necessarily is included as a part of the farmlands. That's what's a little bit confusing, but I noticed that on all these boundaries here, it creates these gray buffer zones, I guess you could say. So that's why I want to test this to make sure that it's actually going to use that the way I've got it painted in the Giants editor, right? Because I see this the same way in our save game that we're playing on. That's why I'll go back to that after I test it here. So we got this plot anyway, and be able to confirm that that's actually what the issue was. It's just trying to play down that save game. It's just not loading the farmlands, I guess, the same way as it would be on a new save game. That's what I'm trying to test out here anyway. So, alright, so we got that. Let's get ourselves a plow. Let's go into here. Plows. And what kind of plow? A lot of these plows that are in here, I don't like them at all. I'm just going to try this one here. I know it's not that wide, but let's go ahead and buy that one. It's not very expensive. Yeah, we got plenty of money. Alright, so let's do that. Let's get on in this. Yeah, so a lot of the in-game plows I don't care for them that much. I'm doing this all by keyboard, so don't mind the stutteriness, I guess, of my the motions here. Too lazy to bring the wheel on over. Alright, so now we got this bought. Now, in particular, I want to observe how this works here. So let's bring this down. So we don't want to allow to create fields. Although I could, just to test that. I'll do that afterwards. I'll first test it just using the standard edge, the standard field. And then I'll test it with allow to create fields. And we'll see what it does. Because we should be able to go well beyond the poles there. Even though those will have rigid bodies. So I just want to keep that in mind too. Whoops. So I'm going to go way over this. Alright, so we're not getting that message anymore, so that's good. So when I was doing this before, as far as to even harvest on it, it was telling me, giving me that message, and our current playing, the save game that we're playing in was giving that message, you don't own this land. And that's what I wanted to make sure was gone. So it seems to be gone. So that's good. That's what I wanted to test. Yeah, I'm still stuttering a little bit there, and that's just, again, it's still just building that shader cache. And it might take it a little bit. You might get that little bit of stuttering there, and that's to be expected. Alright, so now let's do this where I'll allow to create fields. And this will put a period on the fact that we don't have this issue anymore on this edge. So we'll do this. And then this time I want to bring up allow create field. So do that. And 3. Yeah, so I should definitely be able to go at minimum up to the edge of this pole. Which it is letting me do that without giving me that message. So that's good. I think we've corrected this problem. Very good. Very good, very nice. I think I can confirm that. Now, those power poles cannot be moved. Unfortunately, those are static. So if you do want to necessarily take your field all the way out to the road, you can do that. It's just you're going to have to deal with those poles. So the fact that these poles do have collision, just to kind of demonstrate. So if you want to, you can take the initiative, I guess, to work around the poles and extend your field out that way, but you're going to have to deal with the power pole. Alright, so that's a good test. That's pretty much all I needed to do in that fashion, so that's good. We can put a period on that one. Cool. Satisfactory test there, so we'll cross that off. Call that good. I guess if anything else, what I could do just for giggles is just going to our save game here, and I won't save it after I test this, but just to confirm that I was getting it and whether or not I am still getting it on our current save game that we're playing on Fridays. I'm just going to give this a second here. There we go. My other monitor was still frozen, I guess, on that one. I know it doesn't show on stream there, but that's because of my multiple monitor setup. Alright, so let's start this game up. Start this save game up that we usually play on Fridays. And we'll go test that same field, doing the same thing that we just did, and see what we get on it. This is what I did confirm the one time we were doing some contract work. I believe it was we were harvesting potatoes. When I tried to do it myself there, when I got too far off the edge there, it was giving that message as far as you don't own this field. And it might have been just an issue with the contract system. Normally what I would have expected is like this equipment's only for leased you know, or for contracts or whatever, but it gave that message, I guess, that you don't own this field. So, and basically with the contracts, what it basically will apply is a temporary ownership, I guess, of that field, so you can do the contract work, right, until the contract is done and completed. So there is a collaboration, I guess, between that temporary ownership of it to complete the contract and the farmland itself, as far as like what does it actually assign, I guess, what does it actually assign you as being owned temporarily, I guess, to be able to do that contract work. So what we want to do is spawn over to the same field over here, and I won't save this game, but oh yeah, I do have we'll get out of third person there. So once again, I'm going to add a little bit of money into this, and I won't save this. I want to keep this for our Friday save game. Let's do F11. I'll give myself a little bit of money. Another 500 G's. And then we'll go ahead and buy this field. So go into lands. Yep, same price. Buy that up. One thing I have noticed the more work that you do contracts wise on here, that price does necessarily come down. It's not a whole lot in this case, but it does come down. So based on when you start, as far as how much it is when you start and not doing any contracts on the fields for the NPC farmers, that price will come down gradually the more contracts that you do on that. So it still has that same concept as FS17 had, to where you're kind of gaining respect and confidence, I guess, in the NPC that you're doing the field work for. So it's kind of neat in that fashion. Alright, so we bought that. Let's see. Did my playlist stop again? I think it did. Let's go back. Just going back here a little bit. Yep, cool. I'm really digging these this new one here that Technoax. It's not really that much new anymore. It's been since March, but still fairly new, I guess you could say. Really digging, I guess, this latest renditions that Technoax has on his YouTube channel. Highly recommend the use of that if you're looking for some background music, I guess, for your videos. Check out Technoax on YouTube, royalty-free music there. He's got lots of new selections on there. It's pretty fantastic. Interesting. Okay. Anyway, so we got that bought. Just checking some things out to make sure that's okay. So we want to put our store's deliveries point over here. So let's do that. And then we want to get ourselves a tractor. Let's set this up real nice. And we'll use that. Get herself a plow. Yeah, most of these plows that are in here, I don't like them at all. I like these straight plows. I've got some modded ones, I guess, like that I really favorite. They're kind of really my favorite as far as that are kind of like a ripper, similar to this. This is a lot smaller one. This one actually goes on the no, I was gonna say the Pterodus, but the lizard Trex. I think it's the Trex 600 or whatever it is. That's what this. You can put that onto here, but it works on tractors too because it's got a 3-point. That's kind of nice. I use it for doing, you know, even if you just want to do just mild extensions, I guess, on your fields, on these, especially these smaller fields like that, where it comes in handy for doing those types of things. You don't really need a big plow, I guess. So as far as allowed to create fields, Man, I put this in a precarious spot, didn't I? There we go. I guess it works though. Alright, so let's check this out here. So we'll do the same test, whatever. We'll do it now that we own it. We'll do it just standard plow without creating a field. Or without creating a field. So let's put this down. Let's see if we get that message. So far, doesn't seem like it. Nope. Okay. So it might have been just on that contract. So it might have been more of an issue with the contract. As far as the harvesting it was doing that. So it might have been a residual, you know, just some residual edit to the map that it did there. Because as I've shown, the farmland, as far as what is purchased, I guess when you buy that farmland, is clearly out wide enough. It shouldn't be given that message. But just to confirm, this is just solidifying and justifying the fact that that message or that problem doesn't exist anymore on this field, at least anyway. Alright, so now drop this down and we're going to do allow create fields. And again, let's see if we get that. Whoop. Kind of nick the pole there a little bit. Yep. So you can definitely see that those have rigid collision. They have a collision, rigid body in them. So you can't necessarily extend the field out that far. It's just you'll have to deal with the pole. So yeah, we're still not getting that message. That's good. Confirm we don't have that error anymore. Well, not error, but just that problem, I guess, with that message coming up saying you don't own this land or this property or whatever. So okay, good test. Solid test. All right, now let's get out of this. I'm making progress. That's all. That's what matters. So our shader cache, we kind of confirmed that we don't need those shader cache files anymore compared to what we put in that folder. But I can kind of show. So let's do. Okay. Just waiting for that to close out there. So yeah, we don't need these anymore, but just to kind of show how the shader cache folder works now that we purged all that out there. Now we only have this one from our one session. Actually, more or less 2 sessions there. We did the 2 loads there, so we only have the one. So that's the only current one that I have. So all the other ones that I had, they were really unnecessary, but those were previous shader cache productions, I guess, as far as. So I had all these. This goes all the way back to October 19, February 20. Most of these I kind of just put back in there, just left them. But you can see this is the one we had prior to purging them out. So these we can already confirm we don't need them anymore. Don't need them anymore. So these can go in the junk. Okay, so just throw those out. So you can't necessarily just go ahead and delete those. I always take the approach of, so in case if I would have had a problem, with the frame rates, whatever, even after purging those out, I would have a method of being able to put those back in necessarily. So everything I got here, I don't really need anymore. We're good with all this stuff, but I'll just keep this up here just for now. That was our texture. I think I copied that over. Yeah, I must have. I think because I had the program in it, I copied it over. I can go ahead and cut this over now. Now that I've got the paint program closed, just so I can get it off my desktop. So those 2 textures in that the imports textures co-op was the only 2 textures that I created that are brand new. Yep, so that's the same file. Cool. Just to get that off my desktop. So that was the only thing that was really added there, so that's good. That was adding that sign. Now, as much as I dread this, I'm going to get into playing around with that ferry. So the way I've got the save game going, I have it being loaded. We're going to get right down in the thick of this thing here now. So the way I have this loading up here, and here is it's loading up in the map itself. Maybe I didn't even do that. I must be having it load. Yeah, so I got those commented out, so that's not even the way I did it. I know I had to cheat it in there in a way I didn't really want to. So let me go to... Yeah, so what I did, I created a zip for it, as far as a mod, to be able to get the ferry in there, and it has two versions in it. One for rigid water plane, which based on the save game that we're playing with those seasons, that's what we needed. And I have one that's not, that doesn't have, that works with seasons anyway. So without a rigid plane in the water plane. So what I'm going to need to play around with is the zip itself. Okay, so that's what I'm going to get down to the bottom of. I need to adjust, as I was presented last night, if you put any weight onto the ferry, as far as on our save game with the ferry that has a rigid, that deals with the rigid water plane, that one, obviously if you put any weight on it, it bottoms out, it bellies out the ferry to the point where it won't move. So that's what we need to adjust. That's if we're considering, I guess, to keep it as a free roaming vehicle, right? So far that seems to be what I'm going to have to do, because not being able to get the spline to work as I would like to, that seems to be what the approach I'm going to have to take to it. So let's open up this folder. This is where I got the zip for it. Yeah, so this is where I got the zip for it. I need to go into here. Alright. And we need to adjust this one. That's the RW, which is for rigid water plane. Yeah, I can go ahead. Actually, I can probably go ahead and close the map. I think we're good on that. There we go. Yeah, we're all good on this. We confirmed all this. I'll close the map. I think the only reason why it's bringing this up here is because I moved to this location to check this out after I saved it. So that's the only reason why I didn't make any changes, I guess, prior to that. I just moved to this location. So it's asked me to make sure that I don't want to save it, so I want to say no. I didn't make any changes to that after that. First initial save, I just moved to that field location. So that's all good. So let's open up our mod. That's be on the desktop, and it's gonna be, apologize for all the mess on my desktop here, but that's why I try to keep that cleaned up. I need to go into here and then open in this bad boy. Now, the way I've got this going is basically these nodes for, it has wheels on it. In case anybody wasn't aware, this ferry does have wheels on it to be able to ride on top of the water plane in this case. Either on top of the water plane or during the version with seasons, the other version that I have in here, it has a different setup for the wheels to be able to ride on the river bed, right? So it's got a different wheel setup, I guess, for that. You don't see the wheels, but they're there, right? But that's basically how that's working. That's what makes it a free roaming ferry. It's a free roaming vehicle to be able to, and it's not confined to just the water. So that's just to help explain that a little bit. So yeah, with these nodes, the way these nodes are, so if you picture basically the radius of this gizmo, probably not even that so much, but basically where the center of this is here is the center hub, and then it extends out. It extends out as far as like that, so that kind of gives you somewhat of an idea. So in all actuality, this wheel that's up in here, you only have a small portion of it that is lifting it up off the ground, for example. So the very bottom of the wheel is like not very much there. You're talking just very minimal, and that's just enough without any weight on it. In particular, without any weight on it, it's pretty low. I mean, as far as that, there's not much lifting it off the top of it, so it can be able to move across the rigid plane of the water. So when you put weight on it, obviously what's happening is the suspension on it, as far as the spring rate or whatever on it, is pushing it into it, which is allowing it not to move. So I either need to change the positioning of these so that it lifts it a little bit higher, which will make it a little bit weird because you'll be able to see the ferry more off the surface of that water, which might make it look like it's floating above it a lot more. Or I need to adjust a combination of, or I need to adjust the suspension rate as far as like maybe even the center mass of it. So in this, you got two separate XMLs for each vehicle for the ferry. So if I open this up, you can see the wheel setup for this one, and you already seen the nodes for those as far as where they're located. There might be some changes I can make in here, I guess, as far as the spring rate of it, as far as the spring travel. So right now they're set to 60. So I can probably play around with that. So either the suspension travel, things like that, I can probably stiffen these up a little bit. At least that's something I want to try. So we can change this. I don't even know how slow we can go this. I thought by testing, all the testing that I did there, this was pretty much the maximum that you can do on it without it making very adverse effects. But I'm gonna have to probably try to apply some different options here, just to see. So what I'll do, let's drop this down to a 0.05. We'll have very minimal suspension travel. Okay, kind of make it a little bit more rigid, more stiff. I don't know how this is going to affect the drivability of it, let alone the weight that you put on it, but we're going to give it a try. The spring, so you can kind of gauge the spring. So at 100, it's a pretty stiff spring. And by stiff, I'm saying like very hard to push down. Okay, so anywhere around 50%, you got, you know, a little bit more spring action as far as to be able to, you know, compress. So anything lower than half, like say down to a quarter, like 25, it's going to be a really soft spring, which is going to make it really bouncy. So you don't necessarily want it that way in most cases, depending on what type of vehicle that you're trying to create. So for our purpose there, we don't want something as low as like say a 25. Putting it at a 25 would make it super bouncy. So like anything you put on it, it's going to bounce pretty noticeably. So having it at a 60, when I put it at that there, it's kind of like not quite 50, but a little bit stiffer than 50%, but not quite 100 to make it completely stiff. Now I may necessarily have to bump that up to say like an 80. I'll test it this way with the suspension travel, and we'll see what that does, and then I'll adjust spring rate or whatever to see if that actually will correct anything beyond that. So we'll start with this one at least anyway. Okay, and I'm going to take note of what I've had these at in the first place. So I'll save this, and then I'll zip this up. So we'll select all. Now it has the other version in here too. We're only going to be dealing with the RW one, right? That's what's loaded in our game, in our save game. So even though it has the other version in here, the only one we're going to be dealing with is this. That's why it's only got that one. I only got the one XML I'm dealing with as far as stuff. But I need to zip the whole thing in order to get it all to work. Because that's what I've got loaded into the game. It's reading it that way. So we need to add archive. Zip this up. It's not a very big file at all. So we do a cut and put this into our mods folder. So. Alright, and then we'll go ahead and test this bad boy. Yeah. we got lost there for a second. So yeah, this test here, what I want to do, I should have it. It should already be parked at the east end of the map, closer to the town. So I should be able to put some equipment onto it. And whether or not I use equipment I already have, or just I have tested. This is what it's kind of weird. As I was saying Friday, I tested out there. I did have the Warrior truck with the Wilson Pacesetter that was full, and it worked just fine. So I was probably what I'll start off with testing, and then I'll kind of go from there. Because I had just the John Deere 6R with the Crampy Bandit full, and it would not move, even with it unloaded. So I'll probably move into that once I test the truck with the Wilson Pacesetter full. And yeah, and like I said, just go from there. So I want to turn. Wait a minute. No, I want to go into my save game. My bad. My bad. I want to go into the save game. Yep. Ferry's already loaded. Cool. Yep. Just load the save game up. It's already got the ferry in there. It's already in position, like I said, at the east, towards the east end of the map, near the town. So, and then what will also should also show in here, and even in our save game, this is what's kind of nice with the edits that I've done to the Joanne's Market or the Fabric Warehouse. It'll have all that applied there too, especially with that map save. So things, adjustments like that to a map don't require a new save game. Those types of things will load. Most of the things that will not load it are like terrain changes, terrain and foliage changes. Those things like those types of changes to a map do require a new save game for that to load. There's a lot of save game file edits that you can make, I guess, to get those changes that you made, but it's a little bit complicated. It's not totally impossible, but it is. You can do that, but it's quite a bit to do as far as to get those terrain and foliage changes, I guess, to apply within a save game. But it definitely can be done, I guess. That's I just don't want to go through that process there because it's pretty involved. Okay. Yeah, I'm still getting a little bit of hesitation in there. So that shader cache is probably still trying to. Let's put this off of that. Oh, it always loads in there. Okay, so where do I have... Okay, this one's already at that field. That's where I put that. Okay, cool. Where's our ferry? So our ferry is, yep, right where I left it. So what I want to do, for starters... What I want to do for starters is I want to get... First of all, let's see if this moves. Because of the changes I made here, that should be applied to this now, right? So that's the first thing I want to test, make sure that it even does move. Okay, so it seems to not want to move in the first place. So that adjustment that I made there is not going to fly. That's what I thought. I thought that's when I came to that conclusion. That suspension travel that I had in there was already about as low as I want it to be based on the way those tires are set. Those wheel nodes anyway. So yeah, it will not move even at this point. So even with these settings that I've got for the suspension travel, that's not going to work. Because I am trying to go forward and backwards and it's not moving. So obviously those settings in that XML aren't going to work. Okay, so I won't even go any further with it. So at least we got that out of the way. So that adjustment is not going to work. Okay, so that confirms with me as far as that conclusion. The way I had that suspension travel set up there, that's the lowest I could put it with that type of wheel setup. Okay, so let's go back to, this is what I dreaded though. I'm not going to lie, folks. Having to go through all this again to try to get that to work. I really don't want to do it, but if I want to be able to apply it to it there, because I feel it's a pretty cool aspect to the map, and it kind of gives some alternative, I guess, a method of being able to transport items to include equipment on the river as opposed to using a road. So I want to take advantage of being able to use that river. Okay, so we got to go back into the XML. So those previous adjustments that we made there are not going to fly. So we adjusted all those